Her to mute
Nope.
first?
Nope. She can. Excellent. And we're on. Thank you, nephew son. Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to another I Honor Me live chat on this evening. I am so excited to join you all this evening with a special guest. I have the privilege and honor to have my beautiful, gorgeous mother to do an exclusive I Honor Me chat with me tonight. So, everyone, please welcome my mother, Lillian Volina Armstrong. And I wanted to have my mother on here. She's been on here before, but she was in a group setting, and I wanted to have my mother just to myself because tomorrow is a very special day. Tomorrow is my birthday, and I thought it would be so fitting to have the woman that brought me into this world have an exclusive I Honor Me chat with me tonight. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my wonderful mother and her life's journey. So Lillian Armstrong is a phenomenal speaker and educator. She brings a unique and diverse perspective to her audiences every time she speaks. Her enthusiasm for healthier families, vibrant communities, and therapeutic intervention is the driving force behind her commitment to the healthcare system. With over 50 years of dedication to state and national psychological and behavioral initiatives, Lillian is known as an ambassador and a trailblazer. She empowers the human spirit because she knows the value of their voice. There's some other stuff that's amazing about my mother. She is also the church mother, one of the church mothers at Pilgrim Rest Baptist Church. She is also the superintendent of the Sunday school department at Pilgrim Rest, and she has been in that role since 2018. And then she's also the proud owner and CEO of her company, When This Lady Speaks, which she has launched almost 10 years ago. So, again, everyone, please help me welcome my mother, Lillian Armstrong. Welcome, Mother. Thank you for joining me tonight.
It's my pleasure, daughter.
Excellent, excellent. So, I always start off this chat with starting with the foundational question. So, tell me again what your definition of honor is.
My definition of honor is allowing yourself to remember that you were created by God and that you have a purpose on this earth.
Yes.
God is requiring that we use these vessels to give him glory, but also in maintaining a great portion of life, health, and strength.
Excellent. Excellent. And I keep forgetting to do this in the beginning. That's okay. We're going to do it again. Guys, make sure you have your notebooks and something to drink because my mother is phenomenal. I get it from her and my father, but I get my gift of teaching and all of that from this woman right here. So I know she's going to give some incredible things. So make sure you guys are ready. Excellent, Mom. Thank you for sharing that. It's for me, I was talking to some of my siblings over the last couple of days when they confirmed I should have you on. And some of the things that came up were that you have different experiences with honor. So I want to start with you talking about who taught you honor. And then we'll get into how it's changed over the course of your life. So talk about who taught you about honor.
Honor was presented to me certainly from my parents. I was very fortunate to observe how they cared for one another, how my father honored my mother, but also my grandmother, because she was so active in church and she presented this role of taking care of the physical body, but also taking care of the spiritual man. So I was very fortunate that I also came from my mother and father both had 9 brothers and sisters. And so big family from back east. And you would see the love, care, and connection of honoring the men and women in my life growing up.
Excellent. Excellent. So tell me how you feel that honor has evolved or changed for you. You, again, you raised me, so I think how I talk about honor and what I was taught, definitely a lot had to do with the church, right?
Mm-hmm.
And our upbringing in church and how we honor and respect the individuals in church. And then you also taught us to honor you, and you taught us to honor adults, as well as our spouses, and as we got older. So tell me just briefly, I mean, I call my mother the golden girl, so she's a golden girl. My mother is still young, vibrant, and amazing. But I also know you have lived decades and have evolved and seen lots of different changes. So kind of talk about how honor was when your grandmother taught it to you, versus kind of what you're seeing honor nowadays.
So, growing up, my grandmother, who also was a church mother, really instilled in all of her grandchildren, especially the girls, the importance of taking care of yourself, making sure that the physical body was taken care of, and that whoever would come into your life, relationship wise, that they honored and respect you.
Mm-hmm.
So that was taught from decade down to decade down to decade. Today, it's a different world,
Mm-hmm.
um, Devray. The respect and honor that is due women, we still struggle with that in the workplace. And relationship, young women are not being given the opportunity to understand the value of the female and understanding their role in being honored and
Yes.
respected by whoever comes into their life. The self worth and the self value, low self esteem,
Yes.
uh, depression, oppression, whatever term you want to use, young women today are not being raised up. Certainly in the workforce, they may be, but in their personal life, many of them have not experienced someone telling them how to be honored and how to be loved and how to be appreciated as a wife, as a mother, as a sister, as an aunt, and any of the roles that you may play as a female in our time. It is not being taught.
I'm glad you said that, because I think that's crucial, and I think sometimes, like I keep saying every week on I Honor Me, that I just keep hearing this resonate, is getting back to the basics and kind of dealing with the factors that prevent us from being able to progress. And I think getting back to the basics, which is sometimes going back to the original teaching and relearning that, hey, honor is important, and honor is something that is not selfish, is something I need to implement in my life. So I'm glad that you said that. What do you feel are factors, current factors, that are causing, which is again what God gave me, this pandemic of dishonor or lack of honor? What do you think are these factors that are affecting women, when it comes to honor?
I think the fact of how they're raised
Mm-hmm.
from little girls up. When I teach parenting classes, I share, and most of them are women that come to my parenting classes. I begin asking them, as a awesome mother, who
Mm-hmm.
are the children that you have been fortunate enough to be their parent. And these young women have not been told, even though they've not necessarily made the ideal choices and decisions, we're now at a new beginning. So
Mm-hmm.
when and it's really something, because it's caught on that when I ask them, so who are you the awesome parent of? And
Yes.
they repeat behind me, I am the awesome mother, or I am the awesome father of
Yes.
John, Mary, Sue. So it's igniting a fire that they're
Yes.
repeating this back to me, and really appreciative that even though I didn't make the best choice, I've got a second or third opportunity to do it right, and that I am special, and that I am that woman that can really pour into my children, is the term I used, and they can now be successful. So we move. Many of the young women that I also work with come from foster homes,
Yeah.
many of them. So here you have this cycle that
Mm-hmm.
they've been in, average of 10, 15 foster homes from 3 to 18. And so they've been moved, they've been shifted, but nobody has taken the time to pour into these young women and young men
Yes.
value of who they are.
Mom, you have said a lot, and I love, like I kind of went over my mother's bio, but she is an educator, and my mother has been educating families and teaching families for as long as I can remember, well over 30 years. But currently, people that find themselves in situations that no longer have their children are trying to get their children back. My mother teaches classes on ways of empowering themselves and helping them so they can get their children back, so they can be better parents. And so that you doing that is amazing, and I love the way that you go at it. Is you start off with empowerment. I think that's a lot of times some of the problem is. Again, we all come from different backgrounds. Many people I have on here, we have similar backgrounds. We were raised in the church, born in the church. But then there are those other people that were not, raised the same, and kind of we have the same expectations for them, but they were never empowered. And I think that that's what we're seeing is a world of broken people, a world of
Mm-hmm.
people that don't know what empowerment is. I've seen it even in my current position. I get it from you, I know, but I'm really about self-care and people
Mm-hmm.
taking care of themselves and work-life balance. And just for me to ask somebody what their favorite things are or what they do to balance their life, they look at me strange because no one has ever asked them the simple questions, and they've never felt valued, appreciated, and empowered. So I really commend you on uh, starting your classes off like that, because it lets them know that despite their circumstances,
Mm-hmm.
despite their history, despite their past and what they've experienced, they still deserve honor. And you not knowing fully their background, you start off with honoring them, and then you're setting a stage for them to start doing that for themselves.
They
So
love
I honor you, mother, in
Thank you.
doing that, because that's major.
Yeah.
I
And
think
and
life
I
changing.
I'm just excited that God has given this opportunity for you to share I honor, and I've been able to take that and implement in my teaching. And
Yes.
when parents come on my Zoom class, many of them are very angry, many of them are very
Mhm.
wounded,
Yeah.
and so I ask them to take all of that negative emotion, and we're going to propel it into being successful. I say to them, you're awesome, but taking these parenting class, you will become the greatest men and women. Fantastic, awesome. I use words of life,
Yes.
living, that I pour into men and women both, in making these major changes in their life, because they've not been taught that. They've not been
Right.
given the opportunity to hear words of life.
Right.
They, they've been down and depressed, and all of this negative words. Um, Many of them have been raised in an environment where they were never called by the name they were born with. They were called by other names, and using profanity and all of this. And so, what else do they know? So, my
Right.
goal is not only to empower them, but let them know that they are awesome men and women, and they're doing a great job, and they have a great future ahead of them.
Yeah, and I just want to say off of that, again, I love it. Words of life. I don't think we understand how important that is, even just in a conversation with people. We can really empower and speak to their next place or the place that they need to get to. So I think that's important. But I also, you teach classes, for your job, you have classes for your company. But I also know that you've taken some of these classes even into the church setting, which I also think is important, because it doesn't matter if you're in the church, it doesn't matter if you're not in the church, whatever your status is, it is important to connect to a community. It's important to connect to people that are going to empower you. It's important to take classes and to always be willing to learn a different way. And that's why I love that there is no bounds for your classes, and that you have incorporated it at church, and that it's outside the church. But also, I think it also speaks to the importance of, again, looking for ways to learn, whether that's taking a class, and sometimes you might not even need that specific class. You may not need to be a parent, but taking a parenting class and hearing certain things could actually help you. And it might help you if you have some issues with your parents, right? It might give
You're
you a
correct.
level of grace that
Yes,
you didn't know, that, hey, my parent, I was expecting them to do this, this, and this, but now I understand that they gave me the best that they could. Right.
that's
So I
so
think it's,
true.
I think it's crucial to be willing to, again, take classes, go to therapy, have a life coach, because sometimes we get stuck in our own way, or our own thinking, or our own trauma, that we don't always see the light, or see other things that can help us.
You're absolutely right, and because of this opportunity that God has allowed you to bring this into fruition, is that the month of August we had no classes at church. We went
Hmm.
kind of on a sabbatical, and during that time, God had impressed upon me to call uh, all of the students as well as my teachers, at not an email, not a text, but
Hmm.
actually pick up the phone and let them know how much I appreciated them. So
Yes.
my teachers not only heard it, but many of the students of our Sunday school were just amazed at me just saying thank you for
Yes.
coming to Sunday school, supporting us for these last 7 months. We appreciate you coming to Sunday school. That meant a world to
Yes.
so many of the people that I reached out
Yeah.
to.
Yes, it's so I'm really big. I probably got it from you too. I'm really big on manners. I'm really big on the simple things that do not cost people anything, right? And that is, please, thank you, you're welcome, God bless you. The simple things. And I don't think people understand how much, like you said, how far it goes. Showing people that they're valued and appreciated by just, you don't have to spend money.
Nope.
Saying thank you really does something for people, because as common as it should be, it's not.
Right. Just that
So
that human contact. I mean, I
yes,
thank God for technology. And
yes,
during pandemic and still today, it is just something that God has allowed us to use. But there ain't nothing like human contact. That
absolutely.
voice, that smile, that hand wave, that pat
Hmm.
on the back,
Hmm.
that embrace. We're human.
Absolutely.
Therefore, this is what we need in our life to thrive.
Yeah, and so that's why I honor me is so important to me, because God created us to be relational beings, right? And
Right.
I've talked to people sometimes where they don't, they've had bad relationships, whether it's friendships, whether it's romantic relationships, and they think that they don't need that human connection anymore. But that's when you can go into a deep, dark depression and dark space, because we do need human
Each
connection.
other.
I
Yes.
don't
Yes.
care who it's with. We are created to have that connection. So again, I know I got it from you. I'm not a texter. Like, I really hate texting. I prefer talking on the phone. But again, that's I just prefer to connect with people, talking to them, versus, because with text messages you can misread them, or
Right.
just like you can with emails. So there's nothing like, or even classes, coming together and having it. It's part of why we go to church, right?
Right.
Is to fellowship and to be around like-minded people, and to be around community. So that's why for me the I Honor Me community is so imperative, because it helps you know that you're not alone, that you're
Right.
on this journey, and you have
Mm-hmm.
other people that support you. So excellent job, mother, on taking that time out of your time, and pouring into other people, because it's crucial. It's crucial. And I think the more people do it, like, you do feel good after you say those positive things to people, and pour into people. It really does boost you.
It does.
So it yeah, I think it's absolutely amazing.
Well,
um
it shows people that you care. You're
yes.
concerned about them.
Mhm.
That you're taking time out of your day to pick up that phone and just say, just checking in on you. How
Yeah.
are you doing
Yeah.
today? You were on my mind, and I just wanted to know I love you.
I'm so glad you said that, Mother, because I forgot about this. A few weeks ago, somebody texted me, and we're friends, but I don't talk to this person often. So when I got this text message, when I tell you it caught me off guard, it caught me off guard. And then what she said in it was like, okay, so obviously God put me on your heart, and the things
Mm-hmm.
that you're saying, literally God knew I needed to hear that. And so I told her, and I prayed, and I said, I pray that God blesses you, because oftentimes God does that, and he places somebody on our heart and our mind, and we're like, where did that come from? I don't even know why I'm thinking about that person. And we don't move. And so I think we miss a crucial opportunity.
Yes.
And it's like God is put this person on your heart for a reason. So a simple call, a simple text means all the world. You don't know what that person's going through. And it's like God does that for a reason. So I encourage everybody, if somebody is put on your heart, on your mind, if something comes up, I encourage you to reach out to them. Just say hi, thinking about you, I love you. You don't have to go into anything deep. You know, you don't have to try and prophesy to them. But just you taking that opportunity to act on it, I think it makes such a world of a difference.
It does. And people today, especially after what we've come through with the pandemic, a lot of lonely people were out here. A lot of people went through some serious depression,
Yes.
all ages, not just our seniors. And so to come back now, we're back,
Mhm.
and to be able to fellowship, share our love with one another, telling people, you'd be amazed, DeVray, of when you just say to people, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I was talking to a young woman that used to work for Family Involvement Center. She was on my mind. Called her this morning at 7:30, and she said, Miss Lil, thank you for thinking about you.
Mm-hmm.
And even though we don't work for the same company anymore, and she's working for the state, I just took time out to let her know I was thinking about her, and hopefully in the near future we will go and have breakfast together.
Yeah, yeah. I love it because I have tried over the years to implement using that word and telling people how much I appreciate them. People that I text on a regular, that they know, like, I don't care if it's the smallest thing. If you showed up somewhere, if you text me, whatever the case, I'm always going to respond. I appreciate your love and support. I appreciate you, because when people hear that word appreciation, it does a world
Mhm.
of a difference. And then even, even from the I honor me perspective, you have to tell yourself, listen, I appreciate you, DeVray Marie, for,
Mhm.
you know, getting up this morning, getting yourself together, doing all, you have to also, the amount that we put out to other people, we have to do it to ourselves.
Sure,
And
we
so,
start.
yes, I think sometimes we don't even say that enough. Again, I know that I say it a lot to other people, but I think it is important, put it as an affirmation of things that you appreciate about yourself, and start to empower yourself in that way by saying, I appreciate you being responsible. I
Yes.
appreciate you being just who you are. I think it's crucial, because sometimes we compare ourselves
Mhm.
and don't appreciate the simple things about ourselves.
That's true.
I talked about this a while ago, about like our gifts and our talents. And, I have the gift of teaching. So do
Mhm.
you. I got it from you. And I didn't always appreciate the gift of teaching. I didn't
Mm.
always, and I've talked about this too, about don't curse your blessings, don't curse
Right.
your gifts. And I used to, because again, growing up in the setting I grew up um, in the church setting, teachers really weren't praised, appreciated, talked about. Now, if you were a preacher and you hooped and hollered, if you were a musician, if you were a singer, those were cultivated. But
Mhm.
teachers, right, weren't necessarily like put up. So I used to not appreciate it, but even though I didn't always appreciate it, it always showed up. And no matter what setting I've been in, church, work, school, doesn't matter. But I've learned that you have to appreciate who you are. You
Yes,
have
you
to
do.
appreciate whose you are. You have to
Hmm.
appreciate your gifts and talents.
You're absolutely right. And I talk about that when I work with families, the importance of pulling out the strengths of individuals.
Yes.
So when I teach and I say, so what do you do well? Share with us two
Yes.
things, just two things today that you do well, that you'd like everybody on this screen to know. And anything from cooking to fixing
Yeah.
a car to changing a diaper. I talked to a couple that came on, and the dad was very proud that he has three children, and he changed diapers, and he feeds food, and he washes clothes. He
Hmm.
was very proud of the care that he gave his wife, and she said, yes, he does it all. He
Yeah.
does it. And so again, they're on the screen, and other single people actually see, okay, there are married couples out here that work together as a team
Yes.
in the care and support of their children. And so when people are not given the opportunity to share their talent or share their gifts because somebody has suppressed them or put them
Hmm.
under the cover and not made them feel valued
Yes.
and self-worth
Hmm.
of who they all of us that are born with certain gifts and talents. But
Absolutely.
if you don't have family, your support system to cultivate and grow that, then it stays dormant. And
Right.
so we have as a society to share those skills, strategies, and techniques of how to cultivate what's
Yes.
inside a person.
Absolutely. I think it's again. I love that. What do you do well? That is something that is amazing because when it comes to identity, and we talked about this a few weeks ago, of who we are. Sometimes we really don't can't answer that. And the same thing about what do we do well. Sometimes, and I'm so glad of the examples in the people that spoke in your class because the simplest of things, him taking care of his kids, the gentleman taking care of his kids and cooking for his kids and taking care, as mediocre as it might sound to some people,
Mm-hmm.
that's absolutely major when you've taken care of kids, when you've raised kids, when you know what it's like to do it alone, or when you know what it's like to do it with somebody. That's major, and it's worth being honored, it's worth
Yes.
being praised, it's worth being celebrated. And so I love that. What do you do well? And I think again, sometimes people might not think of the simple things, but again, it's getting back to the basics, acknowledging the basics of who you are,
Right.
celebrating who you are, and then growing that. But
Love
again,
it.
like you said, it has to do with the community, your village, and your support system, and being around the right people to help bring that up, and then to also pull out of you other gifts and talents.
And people are, when you have these very rich conversation with parents, they sometimes are amazed when they hear somebody else speak it. Then they begin to think, well, I am doing this well. And
Hmm.
we did a class on identifying your strengths. That was the subject matter. And people talked about time management.
Hmm.
And a lot of our single, most of the parents are single mothers, and they talk about their day starts at 5 o'clock in the morning. I have
Hmm.
mothers that have five kids. And this one mother spoke about getting up in the morning and having breakfast for her children and getting them off to school. And then she goes to work. That is honoring yourself and making sure that you meet the needs not only of yourself but of your family.
Yes. And so, since you segue into that, it brought me to one of the things I wanted to talk about. So, I have not fully divulged my story to the I Honor Me community, but I have mentioned more than once that my father passed away when I was 3, and my mother became a widow of 5 children. And so, at that time, we ranged from the age of 3 to 17. Correct, mother?
Correct.
And so that's major. That's major. And so you just kind of were talking about some of the things that the mothers, the single mothers did, or even single fathers are together, what they've done to honor themselves, or to basically survive. So give me some examples that you did to honor yourself as a mother, a widowed mother with 5 children.
I believe that the village I had, and I'm very, very fortunate for the village, which again for me was my family, even though my parents were on the East Coast, um, and my God family that was in San Diego, but my church family,
Mm-hmm.
and even the people that I went to school with and that I work with, they lifted up my arms, if I can say that.
Yes.
Okay, they were the ones that said, "We know you can do it. We're there for you." Um, I say to parents all the time, the world doesn't know you need help if you don't tell somebody.
Yes.
Okay, and it's okay to say, you know what, right about now I'm on overload, so I
Yes.
need some support. And so I'm was always very vocal in speaking, and I made sure that people knew what my needs were.
Yeah.
People have to know what you need in order to help you get to the next level in your life. So if you don't open up your mouth and say, you know what, DeVray, today I need someone to watch the kids, or DeVray, I need to go just take a nice bubble bath and read a book, some downtime. If you don't tell people what you need, they're not able to help you. So for me, my village was someone that would say to me, "So, how can I help you today?
Mm-hmm.
Are all your needs being met? Do you need to go and visit your parents on your East Coast, and we will take care of the children?" I must say this: the last 6 months of my husband's life, on this side of heaven, when people at church on the weekends would get you and Joy and Adam and Valina and Adriel, and to would take you all to their house, which gave me an opportunity
Mm.
just to breathe.
Yeah.
Okay, and because they say I'm OCD, whatever they want to say, but everything was in order. I would go to the closet and take out your dresses, and then take out the lace socks and all of that. But I was organized so that that was their time away, but it just gave me time.
Yeah.
It gave me time to regroup. It gave me time to plan my week, because I was in school and I was working. And so that was my village that allowed me to honor me, to take care of what was necessary of this physical body, and be able to continue to uh, take care of the family. We need one another. We
Yeah.
really need each other through times uh, that are challenging. Nobody knows the future, but we do know that there is a God that can carry us through whatever storm we have to go through.
Yeah. I mean, you said so much, of course, mother. But I think that, and it was actually going to be a question, but you already kind of answered it. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I think that uh, that's just, as a society at whole, we try and be superheroes, and I've been talking to some friends that have had some recent loss, and I've told them, like, you don't have to be the superhero, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this situation, and oftentimes we feel like we have to be everything to everybody. We can never be human and have our emotions and feelings. We feel like we don't go through the grieving process. And yes, we all are believers and Christians, but we still have the human side of grief
That's
and going
correct.
through different things. So, I think it's imperative, like you said, to have the right support system and community and village. And then you not being afraid to ask for help. I know I've been through several things in my life where I have been afraid to ask for help,
Mm-hmm.
because either A, because I'm a very private person, or B, because you don't want to be a burden on other people,
True.
and or C, society tells you you can do it all, but you're bad all by yourself, right? And that's taught. But reality is, especially when you have children and you have a family, you do need support. You
Mm-hmm.
do need help. We're not meant to do this life journey
All
by
alone. Right.
ourselves.
Right.
So don't try and do it by yourself. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And so I love that. And I think even you talking from the perspective of, before my father passed and how you had everything lined up, and your OCD, which I do think I would agree you are OCD, but you had us together no matter what. Um, but I think that was a form of even honoring yourself. I don't think people look at it this way, but organization and having an organized um, closet, or organize, things in place, that actually is honoring yourself, because it decreases the anxiety. I used to, side note, when we were in school, and we wore uniforms, I
Mm-hmm.
used to love wearing uniforms to school, and you would press them and you would have everything just lined up and ready, and it just made such, like, our week was so much better and
Mm-hmm.
easier and flowed, because you had a certain system in place. So again, I think organization is huge when it comes to that. I also want to kind of piggyback, even as a mother, you still kept a routine. And I think that that's
Yes.
important, for mothers, for fathers, for parents, for anybody taking care of kids. We had a bedtime.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We went to church every day of the week. It seemed like every day. I don't, whatever, but we still had a bedtime. I had naps growing up, and
Mm-hmm.
I used to hate them. I love them now, but I used to be like, boy, I can't wait till I'm old enough to where I don't have to take a nap. But 8 o'clock, we were in bed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's so crucial and important for parents, for grandparents raising kids. Like I said, even for yourself, you even kind of have a bedtime now. I know after a certain time, I'm not going to get you,
Mm-hmm.
unless
Right.
it's an emergency, then I got to call
Right.
reinforcements. But you honor yourself by having a routine and a schedule for your children.
Mm-hmm.
That way you can honor yourself with time to yourself when you need it. Whether that's getting up earlier in the morning, or when they go to bed, to do what you need to do. And again, that's a form of honor for you,
Yes. It
right?
was. Yes. But even today, um, because I am everybody's not a morning person, but I am.
No.
And so when I rise early, there's a routine that that I do every day that I get up. I'm grateful. I say it all the time. I'm grateful for life, health, and strength,
Yes,
because there
ma'am.
are people that are my age that are not doing as well as I am in this physical body. But routine brings about a calm in your life.
Yes.
As you were talking, I was going back in my memory of my grandmother, because I spent a lot of time, because my mother and dad both work. I spent a lot of time, a lot of my youth with my grandmother, and I would watch her. And here she was, this 4'11", tiny little lady. And we back in that day, there were no cell phones, there were no steam irons, um, there were no spray starch, there were none of the
Mm-hmm.
conveniences that we have today. But I would watch her in awe of preparation and planning for her day, planning and preparation, because we're talking back in the 50s and 60s when African Americans didn't have the privilege of staying in hotels. And my grandmother would have her room set for when pastors and their wives would come to New York, and everything was in place.
Yeah.
Everything was in place for the men and women of God. And she was honored in having been chosen go to
Yeah.
Mother Mitchell's home.
Mm-hmm.
And, whether it was revival or whether it was convocation, whatever was going on, her home was always a home that pastors and bishops used to come. And she was honored that they would choose her house. But the fulfillment of her, for her, was the fact of she would glean like Mary sitting at the feet
Mm-hmm.
of Jesus, gleaming the Bible teaching
Mm-hmm.
and the prayer and all of that. And so that's who I am today because of what she instilled in me.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. And it kind of again segues to the next thing I was going to talk about, which is I was going to ask you, how do you honor yourself by taking care of yourself? So I want you to answer it how you take care of yourself now, right? But I want you to mention how you took care of yourself, during this time after losing my father. What were some things that you did specifically for you? I know you mentioned, when you needed help, you told people, but what are some other things that you did specifically for you? And then what do you do today to take care of yourself?
I think for me, because I am a teacher, I always have a hunger and thirst, not only for righteousness, but for learning. And
Yes.
so after your dad passed, I returned back to school to get another degree.
Hmm.
That was preparing me for the workforce, preparing me for the opportunity to connect with people, even through the pain and of him dying. I still knew that I had a responsibility to raise 5 children,
Hmm.
and that I needed to um, gather myself emotionally. There were days I don't say that to just say everything was a bed of roses, because it wasn't. It took many
Hmm.
years to heal from that loss, but I never stopped going. I tell parents all the time, set a goal, and then here are the objectives to how you will reach that goal.
Yes.
Okay. And it may take us a little longer than the next person, but as long as you keep going. So my
Yeah.
goal was to return back to school to get another degree. My goal was to find a job that was fulfilling in teaching. And
Yes.
that's when I started working not only for Healthy Families, but then transitioned to Family Involvement Center. And for me, honoring again is being able to share my journey
Yeah.
with people of who I am, um, being able to have 5 beautiful children and raise them up. And God has blessed me in that area of my life. And now God is saying, these are the grandchildren that I have given you. And the love and the support is all part of being honoring to myself. So now at my age, um, the singleness for me, it's not a journey for everybody. I say it all the time, Marie. But for me personally, I'm at peace of who I am
Hmm.
and the people that God has put into my life. And I choose to whether I want to go have breakfast at Denny's, because Denny's is I'm a breakfast person, anybody that knows
Yes.
me. So if
Yes.
I get up on Saturday
He's a
morning,
morning breakfast person.
if I get up Saturday morning and I decide, and I'm up at 6:30, that I think I want to go to Denny's and have
I'm taking yourself.
an omelet and a nice cup of hot tea and a slice of toast or whatever I decide I want, or a pancake, that's honoring me.
Yes.
Okay. If I want to go to the mall and not necessarily look,
Shop to
buy
shop.
something, but God has blessed me to have the finance that if I
Yeah.
want to see what's out there and like to purchase things, that's honoring me.
Absolutely.
I like to get my toes done, so I like the pedicure. I keep my hair groomed, so I get my
Yes.
hair done. Those are the things that God has blessed me to have the finance to be able to honor myself in the time that I live today, and I'm enjoying life.
Again, you said a lot, and I love every ounce of that. I want to go back to you talking about keep going. I literally made a post today, and I keep hearing keep going too when it comes to I do daily posts for I Honor Me, and keep going has been something so strong because oftentimes I think we get to a point of wanting to give up, very very well deserved, right, depending
Sure.
on
Yes.
circumstances and what we've gone through. And do we have the right to give up? Absolutely, you can have the right to give up, but I think sometimes we forget that the small steps and the small goals are still worth achieving and still make progress and still make for and benefit us in some form or fashion. And
Sure.
so I love that you said the small steps, take the small steps. Keep going. Don't just stop, because I think, like I say all the time, I think when we get to that point of wanting to stop, literally on the other side of everything that we're feeling, all the emotions,
Hmm.
feelings, hurt, depression, on the other side of that is your breakthrough, is a beautiful life, is
Yes.
what we're here for. So I love that. Keep going, don't stop. But I also love that you said sharing your journey. It has been such a benefit for you. And I think oftentimes people get scared. I talk about it before I have usually, and I forgot to do it with you, but usually when I have guests on I Honor Me, I always say, be as transparent as you would like to be, sharing your story. But I also let people know that by them giving their story and by them sharing their testimony, that it opens up so like healing. It opens up so many doors for other people, because I don't know who watches this in the playback and who's on now. I don't ever know. But I know that we have all experienced different things in life, and God has allowed that for us to connect with other people, and so that other people can know they can survive, right? And that they can get through whatever they've gone through. So sharing your journey, Mother, has been astounding. And I think everybody that hears your story
Hmm? They tell me.
knows just how blessed you are, how strong you are, how resilient you are, how brave you are. And really, that's trickled down to your children, to your grandchildren, and it's created a legacy. So I just want to encourage people that you can honor yourself by telling your story. It's
Hmm.
your story, and it's your story for a reason. And it's impactful, it's powerful, and use your pain for your purpose.
Love it.
You
Use your
know,
pain for your purpose. I
yes,
tell parents all the time, as a parent, your responsibility certainly is, food, shelter, clothing, and emotional support. But as a parent, we are to model the behavior that we want our children to see. We want
yes,
to model the behavior that they can see. Okay, well, mom is working. Some mothers have to work two jobs to take care of their children.
mm-hmm,
Some mothers have to do certain requirements that the court says they have to do. But pick up those pieces, put that clothing on, and whether you have to stand at the bus stop, or you have to carpool, or you get on a scooter, you are the model for your children. Okay, so therefore, when I do role play, when I teach classes to our new hire, I always say to them, so we will role play
mm-hmm,
what it may look like to
yeah,
be out there in the community working with families with behavior health challenges. So when you role play, it really gives people a visual of
yeah,
what it's like. And so my role is to keep on empowering families, because I want families to know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
yes,
And during pandemic, when a lot of things were shut down and parents couldn't see their kids, and case managers didn't have computers for them to view their children, there was a lot of challenges for the parents. And I kept saying, there's a light.
mm-hmm,
It may be very small,
yes,
but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And what I need you to do is to keep going. I didn't
yeah,
say don't cry. I didn't
mm-hmm,
say not to get
that's good.
frustrated.
That's
But the
good.
key here, there is that light. And so,
Yeah.
how do you keep going? What are the words that you say to yourself? Get on this call. There's 25 other families on here that have experienced or still experiencing life changing experiences, that can say to you, I have been in your shoes. I have been in your moccasins. I know what it is to have a child in care. But you
Yeah.
know what? Miss Lily kept saying, keep going.
Keep
And
going.
just to know that parents get on this call Wednesdays and Fridays tells me they have something inside of them
Mm-hmm.
that says, I have to keep going.
Yeah.
I want my children back home. These are things I need to do to get them back home, and I must keep going.
Yeah.
So there's that determination, that's that motivation, that's that I'm not going to give up attitude. I don't care who's talking to me, what the judge may say. There have been cases that children have lost, parents' rights have been severed, and I have said to parents, go back to the judge. Let
Mm-hmm.
the judge know that you've gone through your DV classes, that you've gone to parenting classes, and they will give you. In every family that I have worked with, they've opened up the case and their children have come back.
Wow. Yeah, and that's what it is when people have that level of support, and they keep going, they have that little glimmer of hope, despite, we're on this journey called life. So there are going to be things that come up. There are things we cannot plan. There are some things you can plan, but most of the time we can't plan for them. But you have to hone in on your past experiences and use that as your strength. I think oftentimes we look at our past experiences as either woe is me, or something's wrong with me because I went through this. But really, we should look at it as a means to gather our strength. If he did it before, he'll do it again. If I got through this, that means I'm going to get through this. If, I went through this and I still survived, and I'm here today, obviously, because I survived it. And so I think sometimes we just have to pull on our strength from our past experiences that we sometimes forget. And we all have something that we can go back to. I remember very vividly when I was at military training, and I was struggling with some of the training. We had to do this low crawl, and we were in this war zone. And I just remember going back to certain settings in my life to help me push past what I felt was the most difficult task in front of me. But I went back to that. I was quoting scriptures, I was singing songs, and I was doing what I needed to gather my strength to get through that, because I knew that on the other side of me getting through the low crawl, on the other side of the war games, I was going to have a graduation and I was going to start my military career. So sometimes if you have to set a little goal or big goal and have something in front of you that you have to look forward to, even if it's that little bit of light, hold on to that, use that as your strength, use that to help you go to the next place. But I also love that you said modeling the behavior, because again, I am who I am today because I watched you model the behavior. And so you said everything I wanted you to say about taking care of yourself. But I watched you work 2 jobs and go to school. And I used to not understand during the summer why my mother is not off during the summer like we are. But as I got older, I understood that you were modeling the behavior that by any means necessary, you were going to take care of yourself and you were going to take care of your children. You didn't care what that looked like. But you also taught us resilience. You also taught us that despite the circumstances, you can go on. Despite the circumstances, I'm not going to lay dormant and wait for something to be dropped off to me. I'm going to do what I need to do. You got dressed every single day. You prepared us hot meals for breakfast, for dinner. You made sure you did so many things that I don't even think you understood, that I look at now and I'm like, wow, my mother was still honoring herself at the lowest and darkest points of her life after losing my father. But she still honored herself. She still taught us. She modeled the behavior. And that's why, when it comes to my work ethic and different things like that, it was a modeled behavior.
Yes.
So even modeling, I think for what you want to get to or what you're trying to do, model the behavior for yourself.
Yes.
Model it. Tell yourself, I'm going to get up. If I don't have a job today, it doesn't matter. I'm still going to get up. Even when you lost your job, which was crazy, you still got up every single day. Like you had to go to work. You got yourself dressed. You would have never known that you were going down to the unemployment places trying to find job. I mean, you were out the house every single day like it was a job. And again, you held yourself to a certain standard, right? And I think you honored yourself to a degree. Because I even think about my grandfather. My grandfather every single day got dressed.
Not every day. He would not stay in pajamas. No, ma'am.
My grandfather was retired. It didn't matter. And I've taken that as, I'm going to get up every day. For me, I enjoy doing makeup. So most days I do wear makeup because it is a part of my routine to help me get myself grounded for the day and say, this is how I'm honoring myself, because I'm honoring that I care about my appearance. I care about what I look like when I leave this house. Even if I'm not leaving the house, I'm going to honor myself and take care of myself. Getting your hair done, getting your nails done, imperative. If you don't have the money, there's other things to do. But it's so important to actually put that as part of your budget. And we talked about that when I did the finance for honoring. It's so important to include that stuff because it makes you feel so much better. When you look good, you feel good.
That's
right.
It.
And that's a way of definitely a way of honoring yourself. My time is running in, but I want to ask you, it's kind of along the lines of taking care of yourself, but tell me how you honor yourself by celebrating your successes.
I honor myself by allowing myself to hear. It's very difficult for me when people give me want to say to me, you're doing a great job. And so what I do when that is said to me, I was on an kind of on an interview with a program manager today. Um, I first of all, I always have to give God the glory because He's the
Absolutely.
one that has allowed me to have the ability to impact lives, and so I am always mindful and stay at the feet of Jesus because He's the one that has allowed me to be who I am today, and the success, the awards that I received down through the years is because of what God has invested inside of me.
Hmm.
And so, success to me is really being able to get up and make a difference in a person's life. That
Yeah.
if I can get on a call, a Zoom meeting, and say something that's going to inspire a parent to be a better parent, that's success for me.
Yeah.
To be able to get up and take care of this body,
Hmm.
uh, that is success to me. To be able to have the opportunity to spend time with my children and my grandchildren, that is success to me. And I'm grateful that God has opened up the door and that He has made this woman to be successful because of Him.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's something I have struggled with. And I think, again, it has to do with, teachings and how we grew up. And you grew up in a different era than me, but it still was taught even when I grew up. And so it is, sometimes hard. And of course, I've gotten to the point in my life where I don't care if it's at work, I don't care where it is. I have no problem telling people I am who I am because of God. I have what sometimes I've been asked, well, you're good at this, and how do you just know this, and how are you able to teach this? And I've just gotten very comfortable. It's a God-given gift
Mm-hmm.
that
And it
the Lord
is.
has given me, and I'm very comfortable with it. But I also know that He gave it to me, and I also celebrate even me being comfortable and walking in what He's given me, right? And that's what I was talking about earlier about teaching, is being comfortable and confident in the gifts that the Lord has given me, and being okay with being celebrated. I think sometimes we live in a society where people are not comfortable being celebrated, but it's important. It really
Mm-hmm.
is important to celebrate the hard work that you've done. And yes, absolutely, God has given us the strength, He's given us the ability, but He also wants us to be celebrated and to be to appreciate ourselves, and to
Sure.
allow other people to celebrate us and
Yes.
to be appreciative to us, because it is important. And again, it's just like saying please and thank you. It goes such a long way when we can receive people saying, I really appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
You are a success story, and that's why, again, I think you sharing your story and your journey is so important. So the last two things I want to do is, you have on your website that you begin your day with hope,
Mm-hmm.
having only positive expectations. So I want you to talk about that really quick, where that came from and how you implement that into your life.
Um, Daughter, it is a mindset
Mm-hmm.
that when God allows us to wake up in the morning, what we say to ourselves, and first of all, giving Him honor that He allowed us to wake up, but what we say to ourselves is so key. How
Yes.
we start our day off.
Mm-hmm.
It could be storming, it could be hurricane, it could be thunder and lightning, but to be able to start your day
Yes.
with words of, I say this to parents all the time, words of life
Yes.
is how you begin your day. Words
Yes.
of, I personally get up with prayer and I raise my hands and thank God that He allowed me to wake up to a brand new day. The scripture says each day new mercies that God
Yes.
gives us. So,
Yes.
so each day is new mercies that are given to us. What are you going to do with the time that God allows you to wake up and function? So,
Yes.
mindset, whether you have zero in your pocket or $1 million in the bank account, I am still going to wake up with honor and praise because I'm grateful. I am
Yes.
grateful. So it's a mindset. And I don't care, you put out fires at work. You may have to um, let somebody go that's not doing the job. But my day still starts off in a mindset of praise and thanksgiving. And I look in the mirror, you got to say to yourself, this is who God made. I have purpose and I
Yeah.
have destiny. And
Yes.
I'm going to be successful on this day because God is in control. I can put plans into place, but I honor him that he's going to put the plan that he has for me, and I'm going to accept what he has for me to do that day.
Yes, I love it. And I talk about affirmations on this platform all the time in the community. But if you have to write it, hope, and write out what hope is, and I'll add this to the comments later. But begin your day with hope, having only positive expectations. Like she said, it's a mindset. And again, we can't plan for the things that happen in life. It's a journey. But again, when you have certain things in place, when you have the right community, when you have the right village, when you have the right affirmations that help you, when you're and saying it out loud, like it is your mind
Speak it.
doesn't know that you have $0 in the bank. But if you say, today I'm going to begin my day with hope, I'm going to have only positive expectations, it helps you set up for the day. So when things happen that might happen,
Mhm.
you can respond from a better place because you already
Right.
set yourself up for being in a positive perspective that day.
And look for the expectation is look for success. So
Yes.
whether it's that someone so today we were taken out to lunch. I didn't know that,
Yeah.
but I'm saying, okay, God, this my expectation is going to be a great day. I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to connect with people. This is going to be a great day for me.
Yeah. Yes. And it was. And it
Yes,
was.
it was.
It
It
was.
was. Yeah.
So and it's it's hard for me too, community, but try and find the positive in situations, even the difficult situations. Try and find the good in it, or what it's teaching you, or what you can learn from it, and turn it to a positive. That
Yes.
also sets you up for a good day in dealing with difficult situations. So the last thing I will have you do is to provide 3 skills that you can leave the community with, that they can do to honor themselves.
So I wrote down, look in the mirror when you wake up in the morning and admire what you see in words of life. This is a great day, and I am a great person, and great things will happen to me today because of the God that I serve. Say it with excitement and enthusiasm. I also say that people need to exercise, if no
Mm-hmm.
more than um, a few exercise. There's tons on YouTube and whatnot. Just 10 or 15 minutes of strengthening the body. Then, in honoring yourself, make sure you, I believe in consuming water and something warm, and then a healthy breakfast. This is preparing the physical body
Yes.
so that they can have a successful day. And you are honoring yourself by saying, uh, I've gotten up, I'm giving praise to my God, I've looked in the mirror and I'm honoring myself. Then I will make sure that I eat some healthy food before I step outside the door to my workplace or to school or whatever I might do.
I love it. I absolutely love it. This has been absolutely amazing, Mother. Thank you so much for
My
giving
pleasure, daughter.
your undivided attention and getting my exclusive time with my mother. I'm going to finish it off with our I Honor Me affirmations, and then I have one more announcement to make after that. So I'm going to say the affirmation, and then I'll have you repeat after me, Mother. Okay?
Okay.
I honor my body, mind, and spirit.
I honor my body, mind, and spirit.
I honor my strengths and weaknesses.
I honor my strength and weaknesses.
I honor my past, present, and future.
I honor my past, present, and future.
I honor my journey and my destination.
I honor my journey and my destination.
I honor me.
I honor me.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I just wanted to share with you all really quick. I have been working on some I Honor Me merchandise. I plan to launch the I Honor Me store. Probably Black Friday is my goal, but I have been wearing my I Honor Me necklace for several weeks now. My I Honor Me bracelet. My mother has on her necklace. I have some rings. And so I'm going to eventually do a live for the story behind the merchandise that I have created for I Honor Me. So stay tuned for the story behind the merchandise coming soon. But again, I just wanted to thank you all so much for taking this time to sit with my mother and I for this I Honor Me chat. It was very important to have her, as my birthday is tomorrow. And the woman that brought me into this world, I will text her or call her at 12:16 tomorrow when she pushed me out. But I do honor you, Mother. I honor your strengths. I honor your journey. I honor your story, and I honor your drive and your destination and your drive that you give to other people is so amazing. So thank you so much for joining. We'll be back here next week. I Honor Me community. I love you guys, and I hope you have a beautiful night. Take care.
And we're gonna just say early happy birthday, beautiful
Oh,
daughter.
thank you.
Happy birthday. Make sure that people tomorrow will send you words of love in your birthday day of celebration.
Yes.
We love you, baby.
Thank you guys. You guys have a beautiful night.